Good evening, everybody. This is Scott Fortunoff, and I'm back again with Semester with Scott, where I teach you new things about the fabric and quilting industry every week. You could find my videos on my @Jaftex President Facebook page, and you could find an aligning blog post at www.scottfortunoff.com. Today we're going to be talking about building a fabric collection, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to refer to two different things and some other things, but the most important things are, one, I'm going to be using the Snow Place Like Home flannel line by Charlotte Foltz for Studio E Fabrics, and I'm also going to use an analogy to the Seinfeld television show. So as you may or may not know, every fabric collection needs to start off with a lead design. If you recall from my videos from last week, a lot of these lead designs are items that we purchase from vendors who sell us art designs. These are designs that really need to be spectacular and create a real wow. We have our own staff that could design simple prints, and we need to pay to buy amazing designs or license them or some other way to get designs like that. Usually we start off with a lead print, and this is the most important thing. Typically the lead print is a panel, or it's a block print with repeating blocks, or just an amazing all-over design, or even a stripe could be the lead design. So in our situation today, we are referring to the Snow Place Like Home line. This is a beautiful panel, and this panel is going to lead the way through the whole collection. I like to use an example of a pyramid. So when you work your way down the pyramid, you start at the top with the lead print, then you have some sub-lead designs, and then you get sub-lead designs, and then you get to the basic coordinates and rest prints. With the analogy back to Seinfeld, we start off with Jerry Seinfeld at the top. He's the lead, and his sub-leads are Elaine, George, and Kramer, and then the sub-leads below that are Newman or the Costanzas or the Seinfelds, and then going further down from there would be the coordinates would include the other characters who might be a girlfriend or boyfriend of one of the characters or someone who's just in one episode. So in any case, going back to the lead design. The lead design is really the wow, and it carries the line through. If the lead design wasn't there, the line would not be able to survive on its own. So once we move past the lead designs, we get to the supporting cast. And here's where we have, in this case, on the flannel line, we have the block pattern. We have another panel, which is a 24-inch panel. And then there's also an all-over with packed snowmen. And then even you have a stripe. So those I would consider the sub-leads, the supporting cast to keep the main print very strong, the lead pattern very strong. It's not as big as the lead. It's usually in more than one colorway. In this case, it's not in more than one colorway, but usually it can be in more than one colorway. The lead design normally is not in its own single, it usually is in one single colorway. After we have the lead and the sub-leads, we move down to some all-overs and then some very simple coordinates. Birdhouses, another one is a tossed snowman, and that would really be it as far as the all-overs before we get to the really very basics, which I'm going to call the coordinates. These are basic for the collection, but they are not a basic collection. A lot of our basic collections are like Starlit or Just Color, where we have the same design in a lot of different colors. So you need to differentiate from a basic that is part of a collection and a basic that is its own standalone line. So in this one, we have a lot of snowflakes, we have some plaids, and we have some dots and things like that. Those would be the really down and dirty coordinates, and they would be at the bottom of the pyramid. So size. Why does size matter in a collection? Of course, you can't have everything be big or everything be small, because then nothing would stand out in the crowd. So that's why we need some big prints and some not as big prints, and then some really small quiet prints, because you can't look at a print with a bunch of wild designs. It's really, the eye needs a little bit of relaxation, and it needs to be able to take it all in and not, drive you a little bit crazy. So now let's talk about the size of a collection. How many SKUs go into a collection? A SKU is the number of pieces. On the color card, we identify that. In this case of this card, there are 24 different SKUs in this collection. Sometimes less is more. For example, we have a golf collection. It's only 6 SKUs. It doesn't need to be as big. But the collection that we're talking about today, Snow Place Like Home, is 24 SKUs, and that's a nice size collection. So we just have to find the balance, and there are a lot of factors that go into it. We do want our customers to buy an entire collection. That is our goal when we're working, so they buy the whole collection. So if it's too big, they might say, hey, I don't want to make the commitment to all that. So the sweet spot is about 14, 15 designs, but a lot of times we go bigger and a lot of times we go smaller. I mean, Kafe has a line, he has 68 SKUs, and then, as I mentioned, we have the golf line, it only has 6 SKUs. Another consideration is pre-cuts. We want to make pre-cuts with a lot of our collections, and typically the fat quarter bundles are easy because you could just cut one piece of each, but when you have strips, you need a number that's usually divisible by 40 or 42, so we could have an even number. Let's say if there was 10 designs in a group, we could do 4 strips of each of the 10 designs in the group, and that would make a 40-piece strip set. Color. How many colors do we do? Sometimes, as I mentioned, the golf collection, it's only in one colorway. A lot of times we do 2 and 3 and 4 colorways, but there are a lot of things to think about when you're doing that, especially on the basics. You don't want to have a dot in 4 or 5 colorways when it's going to really compete against each other. So my dad has a rule of 3, and basically what that is, he thinks that we should do no more than 3 color coordinates of a design, because after that you start competing with yourself, and then all of the designs won't sell great. We'd rather have a couple shine than have a lot and everyone just do a little bit. In the past, a lot of companies typically do or have done 1,000 yards of a design in 3 colorways. So in the past you've seen a lot of groups with 3 colorways in the collection, and that was really based upon the mill's requirements. The mills typically required us to buy 3,000 yards of a design, and that could be broken down into 3 colors, 1,000 yards of a SKU. Those rules really don't exist anymore, but some companies still do that, and they abide by that. Another consideration is the free projects. On the back of all of our color cards and on our website, we have free projects with every collection. We want to help our customers merchandise our fabric collections, and we also know that customers are tired at the end of the day. They want to be spoon-fed simple ideas that they could go home and say, I want to make that, and then they bring it all home and then they actually make that. So a lot of times we'll be making a quilt project, and the designer will say, speak with the person who's making the project, and they'll say, oh, you need another green, or you need something else, or there's too many coordinates, we don't need this many designs. So in the one hand, if we need a green, we'll say, hey, we'll order a new green color that will help us balance out the collection so we can make a nice free project. On the other hand, if we did too many coordinates and the designer doesn't end up using them, we might shrink the collection down. Again, our goal is to sell as many full collections as possible, and the smaller that the collection is, the easier it is for our sales reps to sell the entire line. As you may or may not know, usually we offer the lines in 15-yard cuts, but an incentive to the shop to buy the whole collection is that we offer it in 12-yard cuts. All right, so that's really the thought that goes into building a fabric collection, and that's just kind of a nice general overview. Again, just so you remember, think of it as a pyramid that works its way down. It starts with the lead print, then the sub leads, and then the sub leads, or an all over, and then we get to the coordinates, the very basic items that just help to balance out the collection. So that's really it for today. I hope you had the time to read my blog at scottfortunoff.com on this subject, and I hope you continue to watch these videos, and I hope you are learning something. I hope you enjoyed this class, I hope you found it helpful, and I hope you have a great rest of the week. Take care, bye!